Shall we begin?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Candid Conversations. I am your host, the laid back, down to earth life coach, Aisha Israel. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Candid Conversations. I am your host, the laid back, down to earth life coach, Aisha Israel. And we have an exciting evening tonight. So, last week we had a very interesting discussion, and I'm assuming we're going to have another interesting discussion. We have another boss chick. Her name is Nikol Miller, and we have Spotlight on Education this week with Vanessa Rickmon. So, we're going to get into some wonderful things. And of course, we have girl talk. So while all these other things are going on, make sure you get your wine glass and your wine ready for girl talk, because we have some good conversation going on this evening. So let me tell you just a little bit about our boss chick that's coming up. Her name is Nikol Miller, and she is the newest executive director of the Miami Valley Urban League, which is in Ohio. And so I'm going to let her talk to you about everything that she's doing and the kind of impact that she's making in the community. And I just want you to sit tight and get ready for a wonderful evening. Welcome, Nikol. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Aisha, for the wonderful introduction.
Yes. How was your weekend?
My weekend was a little more relaxed. I'm coming off a hiatus of probably 21 days of just being completely on the go. And so this past weekend was me relaxing and doing what I wanted to do.
Okay, understood. Okay. Well, we all need those. Yeah, I know those are priceless weekends when I get to relax, and I don't have them very often, so I totally get it. So what I want to do is just allow you to have some space to talk. I want you to tell everybody what you do. I know that you're the executive director of the Urban League in Miami Valley. Is the city called Miami Valley?
No, it's actually Dayton, Ohio, but the area, the region is called Miami Valley.
Okay. So let's start with that. So I read that you're the newest. So how new are you exactly?
Well, I just started in March. It feels like I've been here a lifetime already, just because of, what this is a turnaround organization. And we are an affiliate of the National Urban League, if that makes any sense.
Like a partner?
Well, basically, our affiliate organization is the Urban League of Greater Southwestern Ohio. It's our umbrella organization, and the Miami Valley Urban League is a site within them. It covers, the areas of Cincinnati through to Dayton. So, with a large portion of our organization sitting in the Cincinnati offices. What we're doing here in Dayton is they've not had an executive director in at least 2 years. So when I came on board, there's programming, in the workforce development space. And I came on board to kind of lift the organization back up so that, we have a brand or acknowledgement in the community that we're here, we're ready to serve the people. And we're, but primarily we work in the workforce development space, but we're growing very quickly because there's been a lack of not just leadership in the organization, but Black-led organizations in the community. I was telling someone today that you can tell there was still a need, absent an executive director for 2 years. When I first started, the first couple of months, we were still getting phone calls from people in the community, which tells me, one, that, we have their trust, but two, around in issues or areas that we don't, work necessarily. So I call us the Black Ombudsman's Office for the Dayton community. So.
Okay. Well, now I looked, I pulled up your website, the website for your organization. I saw some pretty impressive stats, but can we back up just a little bit and maybe explain for the viewers who may not be familiar with the Urban League, to just kind of explain what does the Urban League do in in general? I know
Okay,
they.
in general, the urban leagues, their mission is to transform the lives of families, Black families. We do it through financial empowerment and community leadership. And so we have national programming that we adapt at the local level in those two focus areas and that reside within those buckets. For me, for our organization, we have workforce development, which I've already described a little bit, and it's basically getting families or people who are looking for work to become self-sufficient. We have financial coaching. We have business coaching for, startups, small businesses, scale up businesses, things of that nature. And we also have community leadership on that side of the house. We're dealing with emerging issues, and right now the issue of the day is COVID, the vaccination, the hesitancy, and now the booster, we also deal with public policy issues around civil rights, voting rights, as well as, redistricting for legislative districts. Then we also are taking care of the state. Here locally, we have the state of Black Dayton, but that comes from the National Urban League, the state of Black America. And so it funnels down here, the state of Black Dayton. And, we have the statistics to show where we can measure success in the Black community in the areas of educational attainment, workforce, entrepreneurship, home ownership, all the things that collectively impact community, and so that's another area. And then we have the African American Leadership Development Program that essentially is a stepping stone to help elevate the Black leaders in the area of tomorrow.
Nice. So you said a lot. So hopefully everybody
Yes.
caught all of that. But I do have a little bit of experience with the Urban League. So I know when I was, I don't know, probably like in 6th grade or something like that. I think my dad took some type of computer program there, which actually got him certified to be able to be an IT something. But it was like before they used the word IT.
And that's a lot of the workforce programming that we do. We provide supportive services. So, if someone comes in and they identify what they want to do, they want to do coding, they want to own their own business, they want to, just get a job in the healthcare field. We kind of help them map out, like what those steps look like for them, in order to achieve success or self-sufficiency. Not everyone knows where to start. Not everyone knows that you can start out with a certification and, that becomes the basis for a 2-year degree. And then, once you do the 2-year degree, depending on what industry you're in, that may be enough. There may be some other certifications that you require, but 2 years, 4 years, it's just it goes by very quickly, once you make that accomplish that one milestone with a 2-year degree. So we take people, we identify what people want to do. We kind of scale it back and help them identify the steps that they need, in order to achieve that. We provide, supportive services, meaning, help them, complete financial aid. A lot of we have here a lot of the trades industry, which requires tools, for them to own tools. We help financially support them purchasing their own set of tools. We even some of these jobs, we help eliminate barriers, and some of these jobs require a valid driver's license, just to get an interview or to get the job. And so I don't know, I can't recall if it's different in Chicago or not at this point, but here in Dayton, driver's education is no longer taught in the schools. When I was coming up, I took driver's ed in school. It's not taught in school. And so people who want to get a driver's license at a young age, I should say, when you turn 16, you have to pay for the courses in order to obtain a driver's license.
Oh, wow.
Or when you turn 18, you can just go and take the test and, get your driver's license, but that's making assumptions that you have access to a car. So what we try to do is eliminate barriers for people to become self-sufficient.
Okay, I love it. And so what kind of educational background do you have? Like how did you make it to executive director? Because everybody can't be executive director.
It's a journey. I will say
Yes.
that much. I am from Dayton, Ohio. So this is my hometown.
Okay.
I went to attended Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, as an undergraduate, and then what I call is I have two careers. I have two
Okay.
Miami journeys. So I didn't complete it within the traditional 4 or 5 years that most students do. It
Okay.
was, right up until probably I was 18 credit hours shy of my degree. No, I think I was like 27. But
Okay.
anyway, I was 27 credit hours shy of getting my degree. But I came home and I worked full time. I took classes full time, part time at the local community college or the local university.
Okay.
And then I was working full time as a legislative aide in the Dayton City Commission office. And by the time I was down to the last 12 hours, and I was working full time, and I went back to school full time, and I did an hour commute like twice a week in order to complete the rest of my degree. And so I didn't complete. So I entered college in 1994. So it means I should have completed around 98, 99-ish or whatever. It wasn't until December 2003 that I actually completed my degree. So, and that was kind of the basis for everything. Back then, there was this guy who was running for U.S. Senate. I had family in Chicago, and so I came for a visit, and I saw all these Obama signs, everywhere. And so I came back to Dayton, and I was like, I want to move to Chicago, but didn't have really a plan or anything for that matter. But I ended up leaving my job to go work on John Kerry's presidential election. Made a lot of connections and networks with folks there. Moved and left from there after John Kerry didn't win, and left and moved to Chicago, slept in my cousin's couch, and did a lot of informational interviews. And I ended up at the Metropolitan Planning Council working for Mary Sue Barrett and the development department. And so that's kind of how I got my start in Chicago. And from there, I worked for the Census Bureau for the 2010 census. And I then left the Census Bureau and became the chief of staff for the then 7th Ward Alderman Natasha Holmes. And Natasha and I worked together at the Metropolitan Planning Council. And when she didn't win her election, when she didn't retain her seat, I went back and did work for the census. And I worked on the team that was developing the national outreach plan for the 2020 census. An opportunity presented itself to come home to work for the Transit Authority in their community relations department, heading up their community relations department. And so that's what brought me back to Dayton. It was, transportation was a niche industry, global around the world, and so I figured it was one of those things where I could take 2 steps back to take 4 steps forward.
Which obviously has been worth it.
It's been worth it, but I thought I was coming back to Chicago, and let me be clear, that's not out of the realm of possibility either. But I got a phone call from our CEO, Eddie Cohen, here in Cincinnati, and I thought he was calling me about bus tokens and sponsorship, because that's what I was responsible for. Before at the authority. And he was actually calling to see if I would be interested in coming on as the executive director for the Miami Valley Urban League. And it was the Tuesday before Christmas. I told him I needed to think about it over the holidays. And in hindsight, that afforded me the opportunity to, talk to different folks and see, if this has a good reputation, and kind of like figure out, like, if I did assume this role, what would be my path. And fortunately, I went with it, and so I started in March and have been here, hit the ground running, put my foot on the gas and haven't let up since. So
Cool. Yes, it sounds like, wow, you've done a lot in a very short period of time. But I think that your story allows people to know that they should not give up, right? Because
Right.
they're still, even if things don't go the way that you expect them to go in the beginning, they can still turn around and be something amazing.
Yeah.
So, of course, my famous question is, with all of this, because everybody's different, what
Right.
makes you a boss chick? Like in your own words.
So I really don't think of myself as a boss chick. If you listen to my path and my story, really everything that I've done has been about serving the community. So and to be quite honest, I oftentimes have to pinch myself because I don't view myself as a leader. I just view myself as someone who rolls up her sleeves and gets the work done. And I don't have like a selfish motivation behind it.
Mhm.
In all of my positions, I can honestly say, like, it's never been about the money or anything like that. It's like always been, does it feel good? Like, how does it make me feel? And that's been my
Absolutely.
North Star. So it's very difficult for me to, say I'm a boss chick. Even
I
though I
got you.
probably do say it behind closed doors, but like, but out loud,
It doesn't.
it doesn't feel like, that's what I'm doing, and
Okay.
others people may view me, in that light. But for me, I just view myself as like a servant leader. I'm here at
Yes.
the service of the community.
Well, you know what? I think a lot of times boss chicks are identified by people outside of themselves,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So if people are looking up to you, if people are following you, if people are admiring your grind, you know what I mean? And you're getting the job done and you're having a
Hmm.
positive impact. That's what I see as a boss chick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, yeah, some people might call themselves a boss chick. That don't make them a boss chick.
Exactly.
So that's just kind of how that is. But our interview has come to a close, but of course we always want to extend the opportunity for people to get in touch with your organization if they need the type of help or service that you offer. So I'm going to allow you time to tell people how to get in touch with them, and then I will close and move on to the next segment.
Oh, great. So, Urban League is a national organization and with affiliates all over the country. And depending on where you are, I would suggest you go to our, national website and figure out where your local Urban League is and reach out to them. For those in the Dayton area, you can go to our website at www.ulgso.org. You can call our office 937-226-1513, or you can email us at mvul@ulgso.org.
All right, awesome. And so next up, we have our spotlight on education. But before we leave, I want to offer or extend an invitation to you to stay with us for some girl talk later on in the show.
Okay,
Are you-
great.
All right, good. All right,
Thanks.
next up is Vanessa Rickmon with the spotlight on education. All right, Miss Vanessa Rickmon, I'm going to allow you to take it away.
Hi, thank you so much. I want to say hi, parents. If no one has said it already, we want to say thank you. We survived our first pandemic. We had to be at home learning while our teachers were on video, and you did a great job. So if no one has said it, Miss V is telling you right now, thank you, parents. Give yourselves a round of applause and a pat on the back. Virtual learning was a challenge. Our students spent almost 2 years at home. So now they have to get back into the swing of things in school. And we all know school is about socialization. It's going to take a little while. Those super babies would much rather be at home with mom and dad doing those super things that you guys all posted about on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So these teachers are excited to see your students. This has been a challenging time. So any teacher who stayed in teaching now is more committed than ever to do what's right by your child. I want to say thank you for creating a print-rich environment at home. When they come to school, your little ones need to know their whole wonderful names. So post those names in the bedroom, in the bathroom, in the living room. Post that whole name. So when they hear their first and their middle name in the classroom, they know they're talking to them. Make sure they're able to see their name. Maybe write it for them on a piece of paper and let them trace that name. If they're a little older, it's never too late for them to learn how to spell their name properly. So have them going to school armed with their biggest, that's what they need, knowing their name and being proud of the pronunciation and the spelling of their name. I want to say label your child's room with all books. Make sure you have all the labels of how things are spelled. If they have a beautiful bookshelf, write the name of that bookshelf. If they have the door, put the name on the door. Create a print-rich environment for your class, your student at home. That way, when they go to school, they're used to seeing things labeled. They're used to seeing amazing classroom things. Also, we know that it's hard. So you guys created beautiful virtual learning spaces. Keep that space intact. Now that is your child's homework space, a nice quiet space where they can do their work. Minimize the distraction, parents. Our kids say, oh, Mom, I can do my homework with the TV on. No, they can't. Don't worry, Dad. I'm just watching a little bit of YouTube. 3 hours later, the homework is not done and YouTube is still on. So we want to say, create that. I know you created amazing virtual learning spaces for your child. That space now becomes that homework space, and minimize those distractions. Parents, you know what's best for your kids, and you know what they love. They love to hear you read, and they love books. Go online, find books online, find books in the library, and if you need to, go to a bookstore. Go to a bookstore and go out there and read to your students. Your babies are ready to hear you read. Pick a book and every night become a part of that book. Do the silly voices, have your exchange time, and read with your babies. Spoil them with your time. Parents, how can you help those teachers? More than ever, they want to hear from you. So join those parent-teacher communications, the class dojos, the Schoologies, those remind. If your kid says, oh, I don't know what my homework is today, you should know, because those teachers are posting information on Remind, on Schoology, on Class Dojo, or whatever your teacher uses, your school uses for communication. This is the age of communication. And through virtual learning, more than ever, our teachers have been able to be in contact with you, the star of the show, those parents. Parents, raise the praise. Praise your student for doing a good job. And when you're communicating with your teacher, tell that teacher thank you. And in turn, the teacher will be so ready and willing to talk to you about everything and anything. Start where you are. Don't think that you have to buy a whole lot of anything. Use what you have, do what you can. My first resource has been YouTube. For example, if I'm reading to my student, I will find the book that we have, that hard copy, on YouTube, and let the YouTube play. And we sit there together and we turn those pages. We're working on making our students literate and loving learning. So we want to say again, parents, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Introduce those babies to the alphabet. Post and create a print-rich environment. Help them learn their names, and your student will be all right. Back to you in the studio.
All right, that was lovely. Okay, so I am going to also extend an invitation to Miss V to stay for Girl Talk. Just give me a wave if you're interested in staying. Okay, sounds good. All right, so what you've all been waiting for up next is Girl Talk. I want to make sure you have a moment to go and get your glass of wine because we're ready to get into it. Sit tight. Oh, yes, it's time for Girl Talk with Dawn B, LaTanya, Udania, and yours truly, your laid back, down to earth life coach. All right, ladies, it's time to decide. Would you like a question, a scenario, or a personal truth? Think about it, but whatever you choose, just don't I feel like we lost somebody. Did you lose somebody?
No, you didn't lose me. I had to get fun.
All right. Well, ladies, it's time for Girl Talk. Are you ready?
Sure.
Yes,
All right.
indeed.
Yes.
Okay, so for those people who have not seen the show before, tuning in for the first time, or don't remember, I'm going to go over the rules. So the rules are each of us has an opportunity to choose a question, a scenario, or to answer a personal truth. At the time that is that person's turn, they have an uninterrupted few seconds really to answer the question without anybody chiming in until they're done. And then when they're done, we'll all chime in if we have something valuable to add. And that's it. So I'm going to start with Udania, who is right next to me. Hey, Udania, are you ready? All right. Well, what would you like first?
Question.
A question? All right. Let's see what we have. Why would my boyfriend want his side chick to have his baby?
This just I want to know that too. No. Seriously, I want to know that too. Why was that my boyfriend?
I'll put the question.
Let me put that one more. Let me. Why would my boyfriend want his side chick to have his baby? That's just foolery. I have no idea. Because I can't have children, or you know what I mean. That's number one. Why do you have a side chick? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's insane. That's yeah. I don't even know how to. Yeah. Number one, why does he have a side chick? That's what I want to know. He shouldn't have a side chick. You know. Number two, if you want to have your baby, then you need to be with her.
She should ask him.
Yeah.
She should ask him why we want. You know what? I have a feeling she's the side chick.
That's hilarious.
Right.
I mean, if the other lady's having the baby, what makes you think she's the side chick?
Well, that's really bizarre right there.
Well, it was a question. Nobody can help her. Nobody wants to tell the lady what to do.
Yeah, she needs to get
out of that relationship.
Right,
That's what she needs to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, don't give that any more time. Okay. Well, you said All right, Dawn, you're up next.
Okay, let's have a personal truth.
All right, are you ready? Why did your last relationship end?
It ended because my ex-husband said he didn't want to be my husband anymore. I don't know. That's it.
That's it?
I'm not real clear on why it ended, actually.
Okay.
He said he didn't want to be my husband. I don't know why. And I'm officially divorced March 16th, 2021.
All right. Anybody else? Does anybody
know.
remember their last relationship?
No.
Yeah, I think mine ended because I moved. But it was a long relationship that got comfortable where it was. I mean, it was years, like, a decade, to be exact. And it got comfortable where it was. It wasn't moving. And so opportunity knocked for me. And so I did.
That's a good way out. Like, you know what? I got to go. I got to move.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, my last relationship ended not really the same reason Dawn's did. I mean, I got a divorce because I don't think I dated in between my last husband and my current husband, but I didn't really have a relationship with anyone, so those don't count. We got divorced. You can buy the book. Anyone else? LaTanya, you said no, you don't remember, or you just don't have a reason?
God was preparing me for my husband. Basically.
Okay.
move me
So
out
you-
of the situation.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So God moved you out of the relationship, you said?
Things just did not work out. It was just not, it wasn't a good fit.
Got it. You guys are not getting deep tonight, huh?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Mine was an imposter.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. What?
I'm sorry. He was an imposter. Meaning,
explain, yeah.
So you know how you have real money, you have fake money. I mean, it looks real, feels real, but you can't spend it though, or she won't be in trouble. You know what I mean? So it was like he was an imposter. You know, poor. Afterward, I found out, just poor communication, different values. But this is like after, so you start finding that stuff out. So yeah, he was an imposter, a big
counterfeit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm sorry. That's tough. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, it's over. Okay, so I'm going to go to LaTanya and then I'll go to Nikol because I like to go in a clockwise type of motion. So LaTanya, what do you want?
I'll go with a scenario.
All right.
Those are always interesting, right?
They're always something. All right. So this one is another long one, but get ready. All right. So it's 4:42 a.m. I'm minding my doggone business when I see a friend request from the wife of a man I used to date. Context: I was 24 years old and he was 39 back then. I'm 46 now. This person did not break up with me. I went on vacation to visit family for Thanksgiving week. He didn't answer his phone for days. After about 3 or 4 days, I called his mom to see if she had talked with him. She says, "Oh, baby, I'm sitting here watching him get married to some other girl. When he called to tell me he was getting married, I thought it was you." Okay, next page. I immediately drove home to LA from Phoenix. By the time I crossed the California state line, I had made the decision to dump everything he ever gave me: furniture, jewelry, clothes, etc., on the front porch of his home. I moved to Las Vegas a couple months later. I did not see or talk to that man for 7 years. He tried to send me a message. He tried to send a message to me through my mom about 3 years after he married. All this happened 22 years ago. Wow. I have been back home in Los Angeles 11 years. I've seen him 3 times, maybe, just out and about. No conversation, nothing. I kind of knew the girl he married. I used to watch her kid through a summer latchkey program. The most I've ever said to her was he had a good day, he did good today, or he had a couple timeouts concerning her kid. As a couple, they run in the church circle with my mom, but no interaction with me. So why? If I saw her in public, I wouldn't recognize her. From the friend request, I know it's her because of their unique last name. What does this lady want? Or could she see all our mutual friends and wants to connect? Even still, why though? So the question is why?
Delete the friend request.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a simple thing. Like, she doesn't want anything to do with him, the past, and I don't know if the wife knows about the past relationship that she had with the husband, but just delete the friend request, girl. You did all that talking.
She wrote a letter.
Right, you doing all this typing, just delete the request. I wouldn't accept it, and that's just it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when women
why
do that, they are crazy boots, honey.
Crazy
Right.
what?
When women do that, look up the ex or whatever. They crazy boots. They don't mean they mean no good. Means no good.
I just even wonder why she's preoccupied with why.
Yeah, that's what I said. There is power in not accepting a social media friend request.
Yeah.
But she may not be aware of, their previous relationship and may be reaching out to her for professional reasons or, but if the person who is receiving the request has put that much energy into trying to figure out why. Just don't do it. Like there's nothing good that could come out of it.
Especially she says she's 46.
Yeah.
Like I feel like after I turned about 40, 41, there's so many things that I was like,
I mean, if it was that serious, she would have left her a message as well with that friend request.
Right.
That's true. I mean, somebody said it. I saw one of the comments pop up. It doesn't seem to me, or I don't know. I don't think that the wife even knows who she is. It's probably, you know how you see like, okay, you have 75 mutual friends. Who knows? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, let me, do this. I don't think it's that. You don't think it's that, Dawn?
I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying I don't operate like that. And women that do operate like that are very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She knows who that lady is. She knows.
All right. Well, thank you for taking a scenario, LaTanya. That was very brave of you. All right. On to you, Miss Nikol. Are you ready?
Yeah, I want a scenario.
Ooh. Okay, then. All right. Next scenario coming up. All right. My husband and I have been married for 9 years. We have 3 children together. We live in another state than our families, but we are still close. At least I thought his family liked me until recently. My husband's brother sent his wedding invitation to our house, addressed only to my husband. They included the RSVP card, but the number 1 was already written in on the line for number of people attending. Wow. I have a condition that causes me severe anxiety and depression on occasion. So I know I have a tendency to take things personally and overreact. My husband is upset about it and says he just won't attend the wedding. It's his brother, so I don't feel that's the correct response. My husband was asked to be in the wedding, but we simply couldn't afford it. Anyway, I want answers. I've been in the family for almost 10 years. I just don't understand this, and no one is giving us an explanation. Do you have advice for me?
So I'm assuming by her saying that no one is giving us an explanation that they've asked, because that's the easiest way to get some clarity on the situation is to go straight to the source, ask directly. If they're not, I mean, because they may have made they asked him to be in the wedding, that might be too much of a financial burden for for them to attend, but it also may be on the other side of it. I've seen that where it's funny. My cousin and I are having this conversation about but it's typically single people are discriminated against, when they're invited to weddings and there's a, pre-number, who are RSVP. But you need to go to the source directly. And if they can't provide you an answer that is adequate to your satisfaction, then your spidey senses might be right. You don't have a good relationship with them. So,
well, I wonder. I mean, she included the information that she has some type of condition.
Right.
Maybe they're afraid that she may do something that will ruin the wedding. But then again, you can still say that, right? When you
right.
I mean, I don't have any.
I would assume they could at least say it confidentially to the husband.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
And it's not necessarily a direct conversation with her, and how he chooses to pass the messages, his business. But the husband definitely, I feel, should be able to ask the question to his family members and get a response.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. My ex-husband's family hated me.
Seriously?
They didn't know me from the day.
So how do you hate somebody you don't know?
It was a few. It wasn't the whole family, but it was a few of them that served me the day they met me, and it's just how people are, ignorant as hell.
Mm-hmm. How long were you married, if I may ask?
9 years.
Oh wow,
that sound like.
So is this your scenario again?
Send this in.
I know, right? Because I remember the Gucci necklace. Okay.
I did not submit any questions yet.
Just ask us. We don't have to.
I know, but they treated me really bad. It hurt me to the core. Like they went on and on and on and on, and then at one point they said something super disturbing to me. And then I just flipped. And then my husband was was he got super upset. Then he's just like, well, that's how Aunt blah 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 is. And I'm like, why is that allowed? Like, it's too many. That's how it is. It's just been too long. Correct it. So that's not how she will be. Like, it was disrespectful. It was very hurtful. And I, in return, once I started when we had children, I was like, if I'm not there, in fact, like, don't ever take my kids to those houses, because they treat their mom like that. They would treat my babies like that.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Take them to those houses.
Right.
And if they have a problem, tell them to please call me.
Agreed. What did the comment say? Something about, did they want the ex with somebody else?
Yeah.
Did they want your ex with somebody else?
I don't get it.
But that's terrible.
Oh, right.
9 years in?
No, you know what? Honestly, when we were getting married, there were 2 family members who we sent invitations to, and they were like, "Why did you address it to both of us?" Like, they wanted to come without their spouses.
So do you think that the husband probably told his brother?
I was like, does the husband not want the wife to come?
Oh man.
And they were just, so I wasn't bold enough to do that, because I didn't want the bad blood between, the spouse and
I've
never heard of that, LaTanya. That really happened.
They were like,
that really happened to one of my friends too. He was actually not invited.
Like, why would you address it to both of us? Like, I'm like,
so they didn't want their own spouse to go?
Yeah, and one of our family members did not come because the spouse wanted to come, and he was like, I mean, and it's maybe because at certain times people are just not able to be themselves around a spouse. A wedding is, a fun time, the reception, you get loose and have fun, and you just want to be free. And so maybe that is the situation with this couple. I don't know. That the husband,
it could be. The spouse could be a lot of work, and I don't want that for my wedding day. So,
it could be a lot of reasons. Okay.
I see Maisha asked the question.
She did a different question.
Yeah,
they did not like her.
This is Don's. I think they wanted to know.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think that they wanted him with anyone else. They could have, but I doubt it, because apparently they treated everybody like that.
Oh, okay.
They told me, you too much for him. We're rallying for your divorce. You a hoe. And I was like, oh my God, you Googled me? You Googled me.
They would mess with the comedian though.
And then we were visiting, right? And I had my pants on, but I didn't pack a belt. So when I sat down, my pants in the back kind of, and that's when she came over there like, you a hoe, you got your underwear showing. I was like, yo, what happened to sis?
Wow.
Yo, sis.
Yeah, pull your shirt down.
Lord damn, you quick, because I just sat down. I'm pulling my pants up.
He said you quick. So they were watching anyway. They were looking for something to complain about.
I'm getting so irritated.
Oh, it hurt. I was in tears. I called my mom. She was like, well, what are you doing? Like, she was like, do you need to leave, or just find his mom and you stick by her and sit with her for the rest of the trip or whatever? It was, it was hard. Since then, one of the cousins has passed away. I think it was too much. She had a black heart.
Oh, damn.
It was super evil. It was so evil. They was like, we can't wait to such and such cousin come over here. She gonna get you. Ooh. And I'm like, what's the point?
And how old are you at this point? Like,
it's so many older people.
They were old heads. They were old biddies out there in North Carolina.
That's what I understand. I'm with Maisha. Why didn't your husband stand up for you?
Oh, he did. And it was one of those things of the whole, when you find a wife, you cling to your wife. You know that what Esophagus says. I don't know the Bible. Psalms 9,000 says, cling to your wife.
Marry your mother and father and cleave to your wife.
And
but I would say that about the young lady. Her husband should have, your husband stands, it could be what, Tanya said, as in he didn't want to go, or he said that, or however the case, but your husband's supposed to stand up for you. He's supposed to watch my wife come. What do you mean? If she can't come, I'm not coming. Period. I don't care if that's your brother's wedding. Your husband, you cleave to your husband when you get married. He is God, then your husband, then your kids.
Well, she did say that her husband said he just wouldn't go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because her husband knows her, right? So it's the brother's wedding. The husband is not like.
LaTanya said that's a setup. That's a whole situation setup. Like I'm gonna say I'm not gonna go, so she can say, "No, baby, that's your husband. I mean, that's your brother."
Don't worry about it. He knows his wife.
That's just bold. I just feel because they're married, so they're in the family. So that means at some point she's gonna run into the brother at some point. You know what I mean? Like that's gotta be awkward. Like you intentionally didn't invite me to your wedding. But
I wouldn't. Okay. I wouldn't. If I never saw that family again in my life, I'd be okay. So she might be like that too.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the next question.
Shot this aloe juice now.
Oh, aloe juice. Okay. All right. I'm going to do a question. Let's see what it says. Every time I'm out with my spouse, I notice him checking out other women. Is this normal or should I be upset? I'm sorry. This is my question.
Thanks for your personal truth.
Man, okay, so is this normal? I mean, maybe it's normal for him. It's not normal for everyone. But I think if a guy is straight, he's gonna notice people. But now, is he being disrespectful with it? Is really the question. So, are you watching him watch women? Because he will probably notice women every single time you go out. If you see a woman you think is pretty and you like this on your husband, then of course, okay, he's looking at women every time you go out. But if you weren't watching him, is it noticeable? Like, is he being disrespectful? Like you're sitting there and he's like, what you say? Okay, then okay, yeah, we have a problem here. That's not normal. But I would call that disrespectful. And if he's doing that, yeah, I'd be upset. But if it's not, let him be a man. If it's not being disrespectful, they were made visual beings. They're gonna notice things that they see. I just feel like just don't be disrespectful. Don't be over there going or pointing stuff out. I think that's going too far. But I mean, if his eyes work.
I know. I hang out with this guy sometimes. Like, he's just a horny little dude. It works my nerves. Like,
that does not sound good at all.
Oh, girl, right there. I'm like, dude, I know you checking it out. Like, don't try to say something so that you can look. Just chill. I want to relax. I mean, I'm not mad.
When he's out on a date with you, he's doing this.
Like, I mean, we cool. Like, we cool.
So not a date.
Nah, just a cool. Air quotes. But I mean, that's how he is. I mean, I've known him for years. So, and I'm just like, damn, or like, you can't put it back in your pants, bro. Like, some men just have to look at women and hound women. Like, it's crazy.
Well, I think those men I think should not consider marriage. Like that, if that's how you are and you can't control it and you can't tone it down and you can't bring it to a respectful level, then just don't get married. Like, you don't ever want to disrespect your wife. That's just not going to be good. So she said husband, right?
No,
I don't think so.
Husband? No, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, no, that's not okay.
Damn, yeah, that's too much. Is that how y'all met? He was checking you out
while he was on a date with somebody else? Yeah, that's not good. Okay, anybody else?
No, I'm like you. As long as, I mean, men are human. So as long as it's not disrespectful, like, dang.
Yeah, no.
Look at Shawty and I'm as long as it's not. I'm joking, but
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you're on a diet does not mean you cannot look at the menu.
Right.
Okay.
You can glance. You can glance. Don't be looking.
The man cannot be disrespectful to the point where a woman knows that he's looking, because at that point you make me look bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're together, and now you get women. All we need is this much, like a little bit, and this,
and she'll be at your house tomorrow.
Yeah, or it's just like, oh, I was out, and she was with her husband. He was looking, and you know, that's all they need, you know. And
well, I'm sitting here trying to decide if I want to tell the story or not, and if my husband is gonna be mad.
I say tell it. It's girl talk. You got your one. No, just
right. Candid conversation.
Okay, well, I will put this disclaimer. It was before we got married, so everybody knows by now I'm an only child. I don't have any biological siblings, but I do have brothers and sisters. And so my brother in LA was getting married, and so we were Israel and I were dating exclusively, but it was long before we got married, I think. Well, no, I don't even think we were dating. I think we were just there as friends. Like we were cool, Don. But anyway, so we went to the wedding and we went to the reception, and we were walking. There was this little corridor, a little hallway that we were walking by. It like went from like a patio, like an outdoor seated area, into like the club area, right? So we were walking from the outdoor area into the club, and there was a lady coming toward us. Now I was walking in front of him and he was walking behind me, and this lady had on a cat suit, right? I mean, like it was fitted, but she had a small waist and she had big hips, and by the way she was moving, I knew she had behind, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking I'm getting ready to turn around and tell Israel, like, wow, she's trying really hard. I turn around and I'm seeing the back of his head.
Right.
So I just stood there. And then when he turned around, he was like this on me. I'm like, I just thought it was funny though. Like I was like, oh, okay, now I know what you like. Yeah, we weren't exclusive at that time, but I thought that was so funny. But
sometimes you just gotta look though, like,
yeah.
Well, I was looking too, like,
that's what I was going to say. It was good that you paid attention too. Like, you know, sometimes you can have that relationship where it's like both of us are looking, making a joke about it, or you know, complimenting someone else on their features.
Yeah, it was funny. That's the only reason I could tell it, because I wasn't mad. We didn't get into an argument. I just was like, oh, okay. So okay, well at least I got a little something back there, so I can keep your attention. But yeah, so that's it. All right, so we rounded. Usually we finish with the people that are on the screen, but we have time for at least one more. Udania, you want to try something else? No more scenarios, if I can say that.
Don't worry.
We only have 7 minutes.
Scenario. Question. Give me a question.
A question.
A question.
Do people cheat when they're in love?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I believe they can be in love and be double-minded and unstable. Yep, they can be in love and still cheat. Because if you know what I mean, if you have not disciplined yourself or healed or delivered, gotten that deliverance, then yeah, you can be in love and still be cheating. It's, you haven't gotten that out of your system. So yeah. Take it away. Anybody else?
It happens all the time.
I think in love. Nah, I'm gonna not answer. I mean, like I have cheated and I love that person, but I was on my way out. Like I still love him, but I cheated.
But then you weren't in love. So maybe we should look at it like that. You can love somebody and cheat, but if you're in love, do you cheat? Like if you're all in
I don't have the ability because I'm not interested in someone else.
You're not interested in what?
In someone else.
Right.
When you're in love.
Right.
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, I did the same man. I'm not going back there. So I'm gonna be a cheater the rest of my life. No, I
don't believe
you
it.
take me out the running.
Maybe for now. You haven't even been divorced a year, so we'll give that time to settle. Let the right person walk in. It's gonna be a whole nother story.
It might be.
All right. What was that? Did everybody answer? Do people cheat when they're in love? Everybody got to say what they wanted to say.
I don't think that a person is truly in love if they cheat. That's just my opinion, because cheating, along with cheating, comes a lot, you know. So if you're truly in love with a person, and I'm not even trying to sound like storybook or fairy tale-ish, but like seriously, I just feel like, why would you even want to hurt the person or jeopardize what you've built with the person? So if they cheat, it's not a true in love. They may love that person, but it's something that allowed them to drift away to the next person.
I mean, I agree. I can see how that could be. But I also wonder about the age of somebody too. So I say that because I don't know. So many years ago, I saw some type of reality show where everybody was like in the same house or something like that, and this girl cheated on her boyfriend who was like back at home. You know, he wasn't part of the show, but she was saying, "Oh, he's cool." Like the conversation that they had was like he liked her wild side and all of this, so she thought it would be cool. And she was on the phone telling him that she had this episode and he lost the relationship over, and she just could not understand.
What's that
Big Brother? Something like that
show?
Not Maury. No.
The Tyra Banks. Was this
America's Next Top
Model?
No, this was an actual reality show, like where they lived in the house together. You know,
they lived in the house on America.
Like real. What was that very first one?
Oh, Real World.
Real World. It was something like that. I don't know if it was Real World, but it was like that. Like they were somewhere in a house together, and Bad Girls. I think it was Bad Girls.
Bad Girls Club.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so she was already wild, like coming in. That was her personality. And so her boyfriend knew who she was and all that. So she thought it was cool. And she told her boyfriend, and he was like, "What?" And it was over. She just had no understanding whatsoever. So I mean, I think
does she not know like men cannot
they don't recover.
Take a woman. That's a whole. I don't even want to get into that.
I know we don't have time.
But men are not as forgiving as women when it comes to cheating.
No.
You can hang it up if you get caught. Like it's a wrap. So, girl, don't even.
She didn't know. They were young. She seemed young. I don't know her age, but it had to be young.
She'll keep that story forever. Like, I remember when I cheated.
And I can understand why he got
in band camp.
Never gonna forget that. All right. Do we have time for one more? You want to do a question or a personal truth, Dawn?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, or do you have a hot topic you want to just talk about to take us out?
I don't know. Hot topic. What did I do? I don't know if this is a hot topic, but it's a pretty dope one. That Donnell, are you guys familiar with Donnell Rawlings, Ashley Later from the Chappelle Show?
Yes.
He just taped his first Netflix special presented by Dave Chappelle, and he became a millionaire.
Really?
$1 deal for Netflix. And I went and saw it. He taped Wednesday and Thursday in North Carolina at the Fillmore. It was exclusive. It was dope. He had so much good energy. Dave was there. He said the theme of it was called Level Up, Level Up, Level Up. I'm on a new level. And I was happy to be a part of it. And I'm very happy for that man. He's been in the game for over 20 years, and now he got his special.
That's awesome. That's nice.
Got a meal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hot topic.
I remember him from Def Comedy Jam.
Oh, right. See,
Like,
that's
long.
the last
long time
Instagram was 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Ooh, was it?
That's awesome.
Can't be because I'm only 25.
Oh, right. My bad. Me too, girl.
I saw the tapes. They were on. I saw it on tape.
The videotape. Not even on your DVR, huh?
Hey,
Look,
I gotta
big
say-
long tapes that you have to rewind before you take back to Blockbuster.
Right.
That's funny.
hilarious.
All right, ladies. Well, that is our show. Hold tight, and I'm going to close. And of course, if you have something else you want to talk about, you can bring it up in the after set. 1 second. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Candid Conversations. Hope you enjoyed yourself this evening. We had boss chick Nikol Miller from the Miami Valley Urban League, who brought us some very important information and gave you ways that you can get in touch with your local urban league to help just propel you in business and education and whatever you set your heart's desire to. Next week, we have Spotlight on, what do we have next week? I don't remember right now. I'm so elated just that we had a wonderful show. But don't forget to subscribe to YouTube, Aisha Israel. And of course, I'm reminding you to know and embrace true love because you're worth it. Have a blessed evening and a wonderful week. Good night.